Okay, this is the October 12th Advisory Team Meeting 2022. We are in the Community Development Building, and we are here for the first hour with the Police Department, and the second hour will be with the Public Works Department. And we'll go around the table and introduce ourselves, and we're going to stay in one small group tonight. So put that over there. Steve, do you want to start us out? Just name and... That's kind of it, I guess, but anything else you want to say about yourself?
Steve Blaine, Red Wing resident.
Okay. And let's say, we haven't done this for a while. Remember when we used to always, yeah, we're going to say that now that the weather turned, it's always like a weather question. Oh, hi, Corey. How are you?
Good.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Now that the weather changed, like in the last 3 hours, how do you feel about that? That's the question after you're done.
I would have liked a little more warm weather to finish my yard. Now that's the next spring project.
All right, sounds good.
Corey Kaplan. I'm the same way. I had a door that I wanted to get painted. Hopefully next week I'll get it done. But
That sounds good.
Alexis DeBreeze, and I like it. I don't know. I like the weather, like when it's like this. So.
Good. Yeah.
My name is Janet Santiago. The weather, I don't mind. It's raining. Just
Okay. Wow, you guys are
Travis Bray with the Red Wing Police Department, a captain there. Also do emergency management. I like this weather. It means hunting season, and I like to hunt with my kids and stuff. So, yeah, bring it on.
Gordon Rohr, Chief of Police. As far as the weather, I am...
You're going to have to reintroduce yourself.
Sorry.
Liz has a very... Oh, wow.
I'm actually looking forward to the weather, cooling down Lake Pepper, so I can hopefully catch a few more crappies and walleyes before everything turns ice.
That sounds good.
My name is Nick Sather. I'm the investigative sergeant, so I oversee all the investigations, the school resource officers, and one of our people that's on the narcotics task force. So I live here. And as far as weather, I'm like more of a summer guy. I just started trying to do some side landscaping and putting some brick in and some rock. And I'm like halfway through, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm not looking forward to it getting cold.
Halfway done.
I'm halfway done, and it's, yeah.
I'm busy all weekend. So
Yeah.
I won't be able to help.
Liz Miguel. This time of year, I'm always just really anxious because it means Hope and Harbor is opening soon, and I never feel ready. I have 3 legal sheets of paper of things I have to get done yet. So yeah, I always just get a little anxious when the weather turns cold because I know I need to open it up and
Lots to do.
hope I'm ready.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm Michelle Izey. You all know me. And yeah, it's okay. I like a fire in the fireplace, but today was a little bit brisk. I walked out and I was like, oh. So I could use some more warm weather. All right. So, so Gordon has brought some questions for everybody kind of to kick things off. We want to make sure that you guys, anything that you want to ask or talk about with the police department, you can do. If there are questions that you have that, I don't know, we can't answer tonight, we'll make sure to get those answers to you, if there's something. And then probably everybody can either get Gordon's card or maybe email or something. So if you have something after tonight that you want to email him or call him about, I guess, right, Gordon?
Yeah.
You could take that.
You'll see how many I have.
Yeah. Oh, you've got quite a bit. There you go. And,
Labor's line card.
yeah. So we have until 7, and,
Make sure it says chief on it. Phone number's still the same.
yeah,
Gotta use those old ones up.
There's a box in the corner.
that's right. So I'm going to ask the team members first. Do you have things that are burning that you want to ask, that you want to make sure that you get answered? Or do you want Gordon to throw his questions out? I want to make sure that you guys have a chance. The questions? Yes? Consensus? Okay, so Gordon, come on. Yeah.
So the first question I have just involves community policing. And I'd like to hear from each of you, what does community policing mean to you? And what would you like to see from the Red Wing Police Department involving community policing?
Sorry, I think community policing to me really means working with the community, that we're an active part of it. I know I really appreciate the working relationship that the police department has with Open Harbor. It's always been really great. It's always been really, casual is not the right word, but it's been very non-intimidating, when the officers have come, either with people or just because I've called to say, would you do some drive-bys or you check out this car outside or whatever. They've always been great, and that's really appreciative because just get some really kind of unknown, not sure. I've called a few times just going, okay, here's a scenario. Do I need to report this to you guys? And you let me know yes or no, and because I don't know and I don't want to make the wrong call. Just dealing with individuals with a lot of unknowns, and one of the officers brought over a very, very severely unmedicated paranoid schizophrenic guy one last year. Ended up being great. I mean, I do adult mental health, so but stayed with us, and it's been really nice because sometimes they'll just come and stop in and maybe grab a plate of dinner or just talk with the guests, and not always treated great by our guests sometimes that are there, but still maintain a real professional demeanor and try and engage them and just kind of get to know them a little bit better, and that's been really nice. I know it's really feels like it's a great safety feature for the staff and the volunteers that are there, that the police force is so responsive and stuff, and very calm when you walk in with people and and everything. So
Good.
yeah.
That's good to hear.
And we've been, of course, staffing for us has been an issue for
Well,
a year and a half, 2 years at least, and we're slowly getting our numbers back up, so hopefully you'll see more of those
Yeah,
officers
just really
stopping
nice.
by to say hello or checking in with them to make sure everything's okay, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
other things, sorry, what are the other things you want to see more of though?
The only thing is, I know we drop off a binder this year, it'd be just a folder of where we're located, and a lot of times the guys, the officers don't know. They're like, "Where are you guys?" And it's I don't know how to communicate that. If there's a better way to communicate that with you guys, or
That's the binder that I take and I put in the squadron.
They don't look for.
So it is right there for them, but maybe if it was on their email where they could pull it up,
Yeah,
or we put it on the desktop so that the list will show up of where you're at during what dates and
Yeah.
times. That might be.
and I need to confirm a couple more churches, and then I'll be able to do that again for this year. We're looking at opening November 12th, so I have to get some final churches yet. And,
I'd recommend the email.
Okay.
If you could do, or
Yeah, I
somebody
can do
could
it both.
send it out weekly, and then
Yeah.
it keeps it fresh in their mind too,
Sure.
so they're
Yep.
not spacing it. But
Yep. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Yeah.
I think we'll get better results that way.
Okay.
My observation where I live, and I know with staff shortage and all that stuff that you guys had, makes it difficult, but I can talk about my personal experience, especially in Minnesota in the summer, when it's really nice out, you got your windows down, waving to people, saying hi, or if you're bored especially on a Sunday or something, somebody's working out in their yard or kids are out there, just stop and get out and say, hi, what are you up to today? Just stuff like that. And I haven't got any, with all the hours that I've been out in my yard, I haven't had one officer. I think I had one wave one time, but I'd always wave first, and then, they'd usually give me away. But sometimes I'd just wait and just see if I would get one first, looking at them, and that's just one thing, and that, a lot of that's a person's personality, and I was a liaison officer, investigator, and all this stuff, so I got, that part of it in me, but just something like that, I think, really draws to the public, because then if their neighbor sees this, or then they say, oh yeah, Officer so-and-so stopped by when I was, working in my garden, or, whatever, that just goes a long ways.
And we, believe me, I encourage the officers
I'm sure you
to do that. And, I grew up, I worked the first 8 years of my career in my hometown. And so I knew everybody. Everybody knew me. It was nothing to drive around and wave to everybody or stop by somebody's house and bust their chops while they're out working in the yard. Now, your issue could be the fact that they think you're going to put them to work. If it's I don't know. But yes, I agree with that, and I do stress to the officers,
I'm
get
sure
out,
you did.
Get out of the squad car and, don't be afraid to wait people. You're not in a cave in that squad.
I think though it's kind of and I hate to blame it on other things, but kind of a societal issue though as a whole. I mean, people don't talk to their neighbors as much anymore. They don't everybody's so sucked into social media. People just aren't. And so I think and I'm not saying that it can't be done, but I just think that it's kind of become a trend for society as a whole, where people kind of keep to themselves more, so yeah, I don't. But not saying that they're.
Yeah. Maybe I'm dating myself now.
I was going to say, some of us older people, a lot of them don't know what it's like to sit and have to wait for your brother or sister to get off the house phone. You can make a call.
Or you'd be listening on the other one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't breathe.
And everything is everything they want is there in a minute. And the face-to-face interactions are there. And that's... But definitely something that we can strive to do more of. I agree with that.
Doesn't take much effort to wave.
Yeah. Especially that part, like I said, I've sat there and I just didn't look. Then after they drove by, they probably thought, and then I thought they were probably thinking, what the hell is he staring at?
He's got my car number to file a complaint.
You think it's the negative, but yeah, that's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've had 2 incidents where I had to call the police on car issues in a manhole that jumped in my trailer, and good relationship with both officers, had good rapport when they came, so.
What about you, Corey?
For me, I think what I've seen has all been positive. One thing I kind of miss from a long time back was when they had the beat officer downtown, and I know it's our business district is spread out, so in one hand it's not probably fair, but it did develop a lot of good relationships. I used to work Thursday nights, and there's just a lot of communication between all the business owners, all the customers that were down there. It's not the most practical thing, and if there's an emergency, their car's further away, but it was a good kind of networking and just getting to know people. So that was one thing. But
Was it someone who I don't know? Was it a downtown?
Did they just
police
rotate?
officer?
We
that-
just had beat. We just would walk a beat like we do the East End, Old West Main Street. Like John Beckman was notorious for just doing downtown. He'd go in and get a sandwich at one place, and then he'd go to the other place and sit in there and talk to everyone, and maybe get another appetizer. But he was our sergeant.
But now we have assigned community policing areas, so there's different sections of the city that are assigned to officers as their community policing area. And like I said, we strongly encourage them to get out and walk the beat and get out and talk to people if they aren't busy. Right now at this point, we're 4 or 5 officers short at this point.
6.
Quit reminding me. A lot of something, I'm not making an excuse, but I'm just explaining. the city of Red Wing is 42.5 square miles. So if, like night shift now, we sometimes have 4 officers on. So that's 10 square miles per officer. And if there's domestic or something, you know, out at Target, well, that's 2 officers automatically there. So then you got 2 left. And it's been challenging, but the officers have been. We started tracking community engagement more this year. They can call up dispatch and say, make me a community engagement ICR, and they put notes in there as far as what they're doing, talking to kids in the park, or doing traffic saturation in an area where we've been getting complaints and stuff like that. So we
What's
encourage them to-
traffic saturation? I don't know that
Just
term.
like targeted enforcement. Like if there's a lot of people running stop signs,
Oh.
they'll work that area
That
for
area,
stop
okay,
signs. or
got it.
something.
Yes, so, yeah, we highly encourage them, but, you know, staffing has been very challenging, and, but yeah, we're trying to look for ways to improve, even, like you said, Corey, with the businesses, having the officers go and update, talk to the business owners and say, okay, who owns this now? Who's your manager? Who's your key holder? So dispatch has updated information too if a call comes in, so we know who to call. So we aren't calling somebody who was on the list 5 years ago to come unlock the building, and they're like,
Way back, they used to check the doors every night,
yeah.
Wow.
which they would have caught me the other night because I went out the back door and I had brought some stuff in the front. My sister said, "Yeah, I got here this morning and the door just opened up." I'm like, "Oh."
And that's something like Nick used to work in Cannon Falls where I work too, and that's something we did
Just
all the
pull
time
door
back
doors
then.
all the time.
Yeah.
Until the night the bats came out of the awning at me. And then I was done for that night.
It's like
anyway.
Yeah.
De Leon's too. If you pull too hard on their door when we were
The
checking
alarm.
doors, that alarm would go off,
Yeah.
and it's an audible, like the worst alarm I've ever heard.
So loud.
And then you get the call, I'm like, just out checking doors.
Okay.
I guess I have a question quick.
Yeah.
So have you guys noticed a lot more officers out on bike patrol this past summer, maybe fall?
I haven't really seen anything.
Haven't seen them? That's one thing we were doing pretty good for a while, and then with our numbers, but we have been pushing for those numbers to get up. We've sent a few officers to bike school, so hopefully, because I know that's a big thing for the kids to see the officers out on the bikes and handing out stuff. So hopefully that will help
Yeah.
too.
And it makes them a lot more approachable and stuff too.
And
So we got to wear those dorky helmets. but-
And we encourage our reserve officers too. Our reserve officers, numbers are down from where we'd like them to be. But we encourage them during the summer. They work park and neighborhood patrols. So they come in, they take a squad, and mostly they kind of monitor the parks to see what's going on. But then we also encourage them to get out in the neighborhoods and walk too. And you know, they're wearing the light blue uniform. It's a little different, but it's an officer. It's somebody in uniform, and encourage them to talk to people and help us out with those connections as well. So.
Give them a puppy to walk, and all the kids would come up and
Yeah.
We used to have a canine. We don't now,
Yeah.
but
The kids couldn't pet that one.
no.
No.
And the
He was
cost,
angry. Angry dog.
yeah. How about a cat?
The neighborhood boys think our dog is a cat. Well, now our dog's bigger, but when we first got her, they were, "I like your cat," and I just keep walking. Thanks. What about this? Looks like a cat. Whatever.
Alexis, what do you think? Like, what does it mean to you, community policing, and what would you want to see?
Yeah, just being involved in the community, kind of trying to mend a bridge that's been created, unfortunately, past way back. Making sure people, feel not so intimidated by, the presence of police, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, involved. I have 2 kids, so of course always involved with the kids. Then that might make the parents feel a little bit less, So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have much to say. I don't know what you guys have been doing lately, so I don't know. I've been busy. I've been working, so I don't know. I haven't been really involved.
So we did the bike rodeo. Did you guys come down for that?
No, I just see, and that's the thing. I don't hear about
That's so cool.
anything. I don't know how to hear about any of this.
It's on our Facebook page.
Facebook, I don't know if they would do.
I want to see the
Which one is
city
the
also
city?
put out a bunch
They
of stuff
do,
for us
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the bigger ones we've had. So
Oh, okay.
I think we did reach a lot of people.
Wasn't it in
but
Community Ed's book for a while?
I think they maybe had something in there too. For
In that
us.
catalog that comes out through Community Ed? I thought it
Okay,
was
I
in
did look
there.
through that. I
I
didn't.
thought it's
I
been.
don't know if it got in that one this year or not.
I think
Yeah,
when
I
my
wanna
kids,
say
when
it
my
was
kids
in
were
there.
little, it was in there because
Okay.
that's how we heard about it.
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
I like
pre-
it city.
COVID, it kind
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it changed the way we did it. If we did it adult, and then there was a couple virtual attempts at it, and then this was really the first year we.
have been back. I think we took a hiatus for 2
person.
years.
It was
We're also
pretty-
doing the trunk or treat.
Yeah.
Oh, you are
okay.
again?
I know you
Okay.
guys be
I
down
did that
there.
last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was down there and I ran out of everything because there was so many
Yeah,
people.
there was
Oh,
so
that was
many
crazy.
people
We were
last
down
year.
there.
It's like insane how many people were down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be doing that again. That's
Okay.
kind of our next one. And
Yeah.
then we do we'll shop with a cop during the
Yeah.
winter.
Okay. Yep. I know that about that one, but I didn't know about the
Oh,
Bike-
the
bike
rodeo,
rodeo.
bike rodeo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, okay.
We used to do Tippecop too. I don't know if you've ever
I've
heard
seen
about
those.
that.
No,
Yeah.
We did that
Awesome.
for the United Way
Yeah.
and Special Olympics, where we would work at Rancho Local was the one that we just recently did. But with COVID, obviously a lot of that changed. We're hoping to do that again, where we actually are like the waiters and we help the staff and bring
Yeah.
stuff out and people can donate.
Oh.
And then the fire department did the fill and boot, right?
They do the
They
fill
did
and
fill and
boot,
boot,
yeah.
and you
Yep, they
guys,
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you guys at Applebee's one night.
Yeah, we used to do Applebee's too,
No.
until we went into that kitchen.
I do have one. I do have one request. We don't talk about fire. Totally kidding. We
The
get a lot-
four-letter word.
We get a lot of
There was so many things that we had been doing that we
That just
couldn't.
Yeah.
And so now we're trying to play catch up. Like
Yeah.
Madison and I are ordering all the candy tomorrow for the trunk or treat. So it's like, baby steps. Too
Right.
for us.
Exactly. You can only do so much. So.
But I agree. I think us being out there doing things like that, it's a totally different role than what
Yeah.
we're usually doing, just rolling around in a police car.
Right.
So it's
It
good
helps.
for the community.
And Gordon, you
Takes
kind
the
of
barrier
mentioned.
down.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was. Gordon, you mentioned before, like when you get staffed up, that some of the park stuff that was happening that people really liked, and I know this group said they really liked that. That might ramp up a little bit more too, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Once
that
it's
was-
staffing, because that was super.
That was something we
fun.
talked about like right in the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This group just said, oh, they would love it if
Yeah.
that,
When,
that came back.
that started pre-COVID. Our staffing was much better than it
Yeah.
is now.
Yeah.
Well, and then you add in COVID with having to have safety plans in place and, all that stuff. It just kind of made it a nightmare, and then the numbers started going down. So there we were. Now, I do want to mention, personal plug, sometimes the Grinch will make an appearance at the holiday stroll as well.
Does that mean you are the Grinch? I'm not gonna say.
Speaking of which, I have some ideas for this year.
I'm usually the one hauling that Grinch around. Stop pushing buttons back there.
That's awesome. Okay, good. Anything else? No? No. For now? Okay. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, my question is, how do you engage with the Hispanic community? I remember a couple of years ago, police department meet with the Hispanic community. We were talking about licenses for all.
What was it?
A couple of years, yeah.
Oh, licenses. Yes.
License for all. And actually, what is it? Pullman? That's Pullman?
Oh, Roger Pullman.
Yeah.
Yes,
He brought this petition to the city council with us, for us. And, that's a big deal for the Hispanic community. The way that the Hispanic community see the police department is a little intimidating. Nobody wants to get in trouble. Nobody wants to call you, even if they don't have, it's just helping somebody else. They have, just, I don't want to get in trouble. Just keeping away. So, and that's the main thing that police department have those meetings with those, back in, I don't know, 2 years ago. I don't remember, but I think so. It was helpful because you were explaining us what we need to do in different cases, and there is always somebody that translate everything that the chief or I'm really not related with the ranks,
Right.
Oh,
chiefs,
yeah, that's okay.
sheriffs, and but somebody usually explain to the Hispanic community what is how the police department works. I know now that Hispanic community is getting bigger. I'm not saying that everybody, the whole Hispanic community don't have license, but I know that chunk of them, a couple of numbers in there. So we were working towards this kind
Driver's
of
license, right?
Yeah.
Driver's license.
Yeah. So this is the main concern for us, and actually I just talking with some families because I know we were meeting with you and asked, do you have any question for the police department? I can bring it to the table, and they said, no, thank you. Do they need to? You are going to say my name? No. Just, this is the kind of reaction, even if you can explain them. But I think so. I know you are doing many things like the biking for the kids, and you are meeting with the community in different places. But I'm pretty sure there is no Hispanic in those meetings. The big meetings. So
Yeah, and that's
I know. It's not your fault, but what I mean.
If we had an interpreter, Yana, do you think if we brought like the chief and a couple people and we had interpreters come, or is there any way? Because you said they're kind of maybe afraid to come.
No. I don't remember what year it was. We meeting with the police department like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And we not just talking about the licenses for all. The police department, they were explaining to us what they can do for us. The other main barrier is the language. We don't feel comfortable to call the police department and how to explain what is going on. I don't know if you have,
Our dispatchers
say a
don't-
little bit that you
they don't
or
speak
you have, any bilingual
Right.
line or,
interpreter, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I can talk about that a little bit. Michelle and I have been working on this together, and when I started as captain, years ago we used to have the language line. It was an interpreter service that we used. Well, I became captain, and that had fallen by the wayside. So through the state of Minnesota and the contract they have with Minnesota IT Services, I got the language line up and running again. Well, it started with the police department, and then City Hall. They had a couple instances where they needed, so they made their own account, and we made an account. Well, then City Hall went to use theirs like a few months later, and it won't work because, unbeknownst to us, if you don't use the language line, they say you're done. We cut it off. So then I took our accounts, because I have an account made for every officer. I can tell by badge number who used the language line and what they used it for. So I made some extra accounts, one for City Hall, one for the fire department to use to get interpreter services as needed, like whether by phone or well, it's always by phone for us. Recently, I just got a shipment of flyers. Unfortunately, I didn't grab one.
It's okay.
You have
I
yours?
I didn't bring it. I did.
But it's a pamphlet that officers can have with them, and if they stop somebody on a traffic stop and they don't speak English, the officer can take this pamphlet up, and I would venture to guess there's
40, 50 languages.
at least,
Yeah.
and they can point to what language they speak, and it's written in English on there as well. So then the officer can, it's written in both languages, so the officer can say, oh, I need a Mandarin interpreter, or I need a Spanish interpreter. and they can call the language line and then use their phone, usually it's on speaker if it's a traffic stop, to ask questions, get the reply, the interpreter passes information back and forth. So that has improved.
Do you find that has been, do you know anyone that has,
Well,
that's
what I mean
happened
is
yet?
not just when you, somebody's in the traffic. What I mean in the daily basis, or around houses, issues, whatever.
Right. And they can
Just,
use it at anything they go to. If they get called to a
Because
house,
sometimes, sometimes people just, tell me that, oh, somebody is still, whatever they have outside. And I said, you can, report to the police.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, no, because of the language, and they don't want to, be so.
Right.
so
I guess, would it be beneficial to have, so how many, I guess, community leaders are in the Hispanic community here?
Well, they all.
Or that would
Well,
be willing to meet with us?
Hispanic Outreach.
Hispanic
It was
Outreach.
the one that organized the meetings with the police department usually.
Maybe that's something that
Yeah.
we could,
is
and I don't want to
Lucy,
speak to,
Lucy still?
Lucy Richardson.
Yep,
Yeah.
Lucy.
if
Okay.
we did maybe something monthly again, where you guys could
That'd be great.
get the concerns from the community and then bring them forward.
I think it would be a good idea. I mean, you are working, to the engagement community. I saw your post on Facebook that you are going meeting with the community. Come,
Yeah.
get a coffee, But I'm pretty sure the Hispanic community will attend to
Does,
those events.
Does
And
our
it's-
Hispanic community, are a lot of them enrolled at St. Joe's? For
No,
church
there
service?
are. There is St. Joseph Church. This is a big group there, and there is a Seventh-day Adventist Church. There is another group in there, and there is,
Yeah,
that I know. So
I know, so I go to St. Joe's, I know Father Brandon's bilingual and he speaks Spanish really well. I just wonder if that's maybe a connection that we could use, because I know they trust him, and maybe we could come in and Father Brandon could meet with me and maybe the chief, and we could have some people come in and discuss things too. Just a
Yeah.
thought, brainstorm.
And I know that Jamie used to
Jamie
in
Justin,
the
she
schools.
works from the
She would.
school.
She's said that she would be interested in. She's the
She works at the high school.
liaison at GCED, so the whole county, but
Okay.
including Red Wing.
And
Right, Jen?
I've met with
Yeah,
her
yeah,
before. So, yeah.
Does
I'm just thinking it's another person.
does the Hispanic Outreach have like a meeting once a month on certain days, or like do they get together and have meetings? That's
You mean with the community?
just as a
Themselves?
just themselves, or whatever. Like, is there a board of people that like come and get together on a certain day and time? Or?
They have board members.
They have a board.
Board, yeah.
But they're not all
I'm not
Hispanic.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just thinking. I mean, so like we have some officers that are on, like we have a SMART team, and they meet every month or 2 months or whatever, and we have like a liaison that goes there and meets with them, and we have probably a couple other committee things or whatever that officers go to. And I'm just wondering, like, if this is something that maybe
We could get an officer on.
we could have a liaison from our department that goes to the meeting and actually gets to know them, and they get to know him, and then they can figure out what's needed from us, and vice versa, and that way they're always there, or they're most of the time.
And it's building that relationship too, maybe with that officer, that then the community would feel closer to that officer to be able to report things as they come up.
Like, you'll have that one person that's always like there that you can get to know from the police department, and then we can communicate back and forth. I don't know.
Do you have it'd be great if that person were bilingual, I suppose.
Yeah.
We just lost one of our bilingual
Yeah. Yeah.
people, and I don't know.
Dan kind of is.
Yeah, I guess maybe we have a, I don't know if he's.
Maybe some of our new people that we're hiring will be bilingual.
Yeah.
We usually, we try to get along with the language, but sometimes it's feel intimidating to, explain things. So, when you don't have the terminology that you need to use. So,
Not that I'm in the
But
same
it just
circumstance,
kinda-
but I was just in Italy for 2 weeks, And so I get the communication thing when they speak Italian and I speak English and we're trying to convey, and it's not, I get that it's not,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
We could, and for that, if we don't have a translator, we could potentially pay for some of the funds that we have to pay for a translator in those meetings. So if there was a regular meeting, we would just make sure to have a translator there if we don't have a bilingual person for a while. You know, I'm just brainstorming, but I think that's a great idea.
And kind of start there.
That'd be great.
Did we talked about that early on about in the like job postings they were going to put, you know, bilingual is preferred or requires. I mean, did that get updated at least in the
You're really
Well,
get
in the
people-
search thing?
It has, and you know,
I mean,
females and minorities, please apply.
Yeah.
And it's like we're getting 10
Still not,
applicants
yeah.
right now.
But they put at least they put that in there. But
Yeah.
And the HR has also expanded where they're posting job openings. They've expanded the number of websites and the different types of websites that they're putting our postings on. But right now, everybody is just in that area where you take applications for a police officer for 2 weeks and you get maybe 10 or 15. And you used to get 30, 40, you know, 5, 6 years ago. So it's, back when I started, yeah,
300.
yeah, you'd have one job opening and 300 people would show up to test for a police officer position, and that doesn't happen anymore. So it's yeah, it's interesting nowadays, but yeah, we're trying to expand how we do that too. As far
are
as-
there any departments like doing like hiring people that don't have their like certification and kind of bringing them up?
We did that.
Did it work? I mean, was it successful?
It worked.
Challenge.
It's just it wasn't a great fit for that person. They're still with us, but working the street really wasn't what they thought it was going to be. So
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. My question is way off at the topic. Go ahead.
But yeah, we
Keep that one.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I won't.
Okay.
that's the Pathways to Policing program that we use, and it was kind of trying because that was kind of towards the end of COVID as well, and there was such a small group. I think there was like 10 or 11 people that went through this accelerated course, and there was some challenges with the training itself and getting people there. And you know, the person we sent had been in our department as a CSO, and we sent her to get licensed, and you know, she made it through and she got a license. But then once she actually got into working the street and law enforcement, she's like, this really isn't for me.
Was that through the Bloomington Richfield? That
Yep, that's
Yeah.
when we went through.
they did. It just didn't pan out how they had envisioned having this. It was mainly for women and minorities to get them into law enforcement, and they did all the accelerated training and cut a lot of the red tape out of it, got the meat and potatoes part of it, and then tried to get them on a department, get them hired, and then work them in their training officers and stuff like that. And I talked to other communities, and same thing. It's like they didn't
Well, it's
really
hard.
know what they were going to expect.
Yeah, and it's hard because, like, when we go to college, I mean, we spend 4 months in college just going through statutes and laws and writing reports, and that's just one part of it, you know. And we go to, like, you spend all that time doing that. Well, when you take all that and you try to just squish it in this tiny little rock and go, okay, here, we're just going to try and do the best we can. Sometimes that's how it turns out, because they don't get all the time to figure everything out and then take the time to learn all of the extra stuff, and then all of a sudden you just throw them in the job and go, okay, well, good luck. Well, now they have some skills to try and then make it work, but you know, it's hard. So it's just,
In Minnesota, does require a minimum 2-year degree, a college degree, to be in law enforcement. So these are people that had degrees basically in something besides law enforcement or criminal justice. And yeah, you need at least a 2-year degree. There's some departments in the state of Minnesota that won't even look at hiring you if you don't have a 4-year degree. And I don't agree with that. Some of the best cops I've worked with in my career have been the cops with 2-year degrees, but they know how to talk to people, they know how to handle things, and they have that gift. So, yeah, they at least have to have 2 years.
Before we leave that topic though, Janeth, one more thing. If you know, you were saying how people don't want to, all of the issues, there are a lot of issues, but do you think that would help or not? You know, sometimes like we say, well, we could get people together and,
Just what I mean
do you
is
think
that,
that would help, or are there
building
other things?
relationship with the police department? I
Okay.
think so. It would be a good step. I mean, you know, was starting a couple of years ago, and the people feel more. They have more knowledge about what the police department can do for us. Doesn't matter the immigrant status or whatever. So yeah, I think so. It will be a kind of good idea.
Well,
Build this
trying to
relationship.
maybe do the liaison things better than like, hey, let's just get together for 2 meetings and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because the problem is when you get you get together for one meeting, you talk about a lot of things, maybe you get a couple things accomplished, but then then it's like then it dissolves.
Yes, so I remember that many people they talk about their own experience, and the police give the answer to that matter. So yes.
And is the police in your country where you grew up, are they a lot different than the police here?
Yeah, it is. I can say that it's.
They're more military, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Yeah, and that's, if people grow up that way and that's what they know and that's what they learn,
Yeah.
it can be, tough for us to try to break that mold, but we will certainly try, because, they're used to being intimidated by the police or not trusting them, and it's understandable if that's the way, you were brought up and raised. So, but we can certainly try some new things.
Good.
Oh, I just wanted to know, you had mentioned the shot being with a cop or whatever for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
That's what y'all do? How do you even get in, how do you do that?
So we work with usually the elementary schools and the counselors and social workers usually have a target group that they know that less fortunate families that might not have as much for Christmas. So then, or they just need a good positive influence with an officer for the day. We've done those, but yeah, it's usually we rely on the school to find the kids. So.
Quick thing, the bikes that get turned in because they're stolen or whatever, left in the back on Pioneer Park where I live, what do you guys do with those? Do you ever?
Well, we actually are dealing with
Just
that
got
right
rid
now.
of all of them.
What do you do with? Because the problem is, clients that I work with have extremely limited finances, but most of them can't get a driver's license, but they would love a bike. So can they ever come and do you sell those? What do you do with them?
So, yeah. So we ran into the DOC with guys on parole getting out of prison and stuff,
What's a
getting
DOC?
jobs. We've
Department
given
of Corrections.
bikes to them. We recently are working with this new company. They're out of Forest Lake or up in the cities, and they'll take all of our bikes. We don't make any money or anything off of them. We just donate them to this program, and service groups, outreach groups can actually contact them. We have that information now where they'll give you a free bike. It's just you got to go up there and you have to pick it out, and you give them the characteristics of the person. So they're 5'10", 200 pounds, and they'll actually pick out a few of the bikes, have them ready for you when you go up there.
Is there any way that we could do that before you give them to? I mean, is there any way we could
Part
do
of
it
the-
while they're
part
still
of
in
the-
Goodhue County or not?
Part of the issues we deal with are a couple of things. Number one is liability if we give somebody a bike and they
Brakes
hop on it, the brakes don't work and all
Right.
that. That's, and technically,
That was from our city attorney. She
Yeah.
wasn't big on that.
Okay.
And technically, we're supposed to take these items to a place where there's equal opportunity for
Okay.
people to
But-
use them. So this bike for kids, is that bikes for kids?
Something like that, or they might have changed names.
And I think they fix up bikes too.
Yeah,
So
so
they'll
that's,
part them out and
Yeah, I mean-
build things, but then, like, we have had some really nice bikes. And we actually had this next go around, we're taking up some nice ones. So they do have some decent bikes.
Okay.
They're-
Then just when you're talking about like how to get announcements out to people for like the bike rodeo and stuff, what if like, I had two ideas on that. You know the Sheldon where they always display what's coming up next, since that's the city? What if one of those pillars sides was dedicated to just like city announcements like that, like post a flyer of the bike rodeo, so parents, while they're at the library or whatever, they would notice, or community members, I shouldn't just say parents, would be able to go and know like this is like a kind of city announcement place.
Because they have one down in Levy that they do that, I think. I've seen that one down there, the community announcements.
They do?
We're working on a thing where there would be more like QR codes so that people could do QR codes and then have it on there. But yeah, because of that issue, because they're not always the most up-to-date
Yeah,
stuff, you know
and,
what I mean?
and that's just
But,
it.
yeah.
But,
Having
you
it
know-
accessible downtown makes a lot more sense.
Right,
Yeah.
because,
By
I
the
mean,
library.
I mean, I'm in Levy a lot with my clients and I didn't know that was down there, so.
Yeah.
But I'm just, kind of what you're saying, how, you know, people are so on social media now. I went off Facebook about a month ago and trying to get like how do we just organically get information to people that don't make them reliant on social media? Like how do we do that where there's just kind of more of a centralized community place? Then my other thought was like talking again about the bike rodeo. What if we empowered, you know, a group of kids, you know, various ages, and they knew they could come down to the police station, which would be a great way for them to get to know the police on a, you know, non-intimidating basis, and pick up like flyers or something, and then they're passing them out to their friends. They're doing kind of some of that stuff because they're the ones who know when to go to the bike rodeo. Is, I mean, they're the ones using it. You know, we could maybe just get a group of
Get some little
kids,
workarounds.
yeah, to be the, you know, the ones who.
But see, that's competition then to win a bike. Like the more kids you invite, then they.
That's right. True.
That's the way my mind would have thought. It's like, wait, if I invite all my friends.
Those high schoolers need community service, don't they, some of them? Some of them.
Well,
Like national
let's not call it
exercise.
community service for high school. Let's call it like confirmation projects.
Oh, well, I was thinking, yeah, for honor society or whatever it is, yeah.
But yeah, that's a great idea.
But I mean, just, you know, I mean, like, I just think like when my kids were younger, now they're at the confirmation project stage, not community service. But like, it would have been kind of fun if they could have gone down, picked up like 40 flyers about the bike rodeo, and then passed them out to their friends, you know, to say, and
Yeah.
then, you know, just kind of get some information out that
And I
way.
want to say, like, getting our message out there is probably one of the biggest struggles that we have because it used to be you put it in the newspaper, you put it on channel, what is it, 6 in Red Wing still, and cabling. And that's going to hit the people that are, because people listen to the radio or they would read the newspaper.
Right.
Now there's so many platforms, it's like,
Right.
you don't know who you're hitting and who you're not.
Well, and the school used to send home information, and they don't anymore either. Like,
Yeah.
they used to send home, you
A
know,
bunch.
on Fridays, you get a folder, and it had all the... and
This year
don't
they
do-
did for us.
Did they?
They sent it out for the bike rodeo. The elementary principals and the middle school.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that's probably why we got a lot more kids this year because the schools actually helped
Yeah.
with that quite a bit.
Gordon, do you have a couple of your other questions just to kind of throw out
Travis
there?
had one he wanted.
Well, I think we already kind of hit on it. I was just wondering what outreach programs you guys would like to see the police department either involved in or more involved in, or committees that you guys know of that you think would be beneficial for maybe an officer or two to be on. I know we talked about that.
Like to be on
Outreach.
permanently, or just like things that are happening that you can go to, or both? Like events?
I would say both.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a program down at the preschool, and I can't remember what it's called, but I know that they do open gym and stuff like that. Do you ever think about like stopping in there and saying hi to the kids?
Which preschool is that?
It's right over the.
Oh, Calvo?
Calvo, yeah. Can you? I don't know if you can or not, but I'm just saying, like, it's just like something that's like I thought would be cool. Like, stop in, say hi. I mean, when you guys have more people, obviously,
Right.
because like that would be. I
Yeah, and
mean, it's a
that,
community thing. It's like people go down there.
and Michelle and I just talked to her recently. One of the things that I would like, or I want to do, is talk to the YMCA and see if we can maybe do a one night a month or something where the police can show up and play basketball with the kids, or
That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
Not play basketball with preschoolers, but I think it's like all.
I think we
ages.
could take
All
preschoolers.
different ages.
I don't know if I can anymore. But
My son will put up a
Or
court.
blowing a hip out, going down the court.
don't make
I'm
fun
just
of us
trying
old guys.
like little kids. I mean, I
Yeah,
know that you
little
guys
kids.
do stuff with the bigger kids too, but like, you know, like my son, he told me, what was it, like a couple weeks ago, I was like, what do you want to be when you get older? I want to be a police officer. I was like, oh, okay, that come out of nowhere.
Everyone wants
How
to
old
live
is
in
he?
the middle
Is
until
he
they
4?
figure it out.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be 5 this coming Saturday, and so I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it would be nice, you know. He's never even really interacted with police officers. I don't believe so. I mean, unless it was out of my knowledge, but
So where do you guys, like, I'm just thinking, I mean, because my kids are also older too. So now when you're with your kids,
yeah.
and if the police officers were just going to go places, is
Yeah.
it like the parks, or where else would there
Parks,
just be
library.
library? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, why?
Yeah, okay.
We thought about doing like
That's
a
okay.
reading thing down at the library where we read like a police book or something. But again, it's the logistics and trying to get somebody down there.
Yeah,
is
that's
is
what I'm
tough,
saying.
but-
Yeah.
I know like the
That's
middle school does a
awesome.
couple tutoring programs on like Tuesday, Thursday. Like, again, if you had somebody available just to stop by and,
As long as it's not math.
Or algebra.
that's math.
Yeah.
See, this is how bad here. That's why we became police officers. We learned math.
I was laughing the other day. I was telling somebody a story of my son doing an online course in high school, and it was algebra, and he's like, "Dad, can you help me out?" Oh no, that went out of brain.
That was actually one.
Twin Bluff does it, and then, well, I mean, Youth Outreach does it they do it at the school, I think, one night, and then at First Covenant one night.
Yeah, Hispanic Outreach have those programs also.
Mhm.
I don't know, just the same ones. They have, after
And those are a
school
lot of the
tutoring,
at-risk kids and that
Monday
type
to
of-
Thursday.
Yeah.
Monday and Wednesday up in the high school, and Tuesday and Thursday in the middle school.
Okay, good.
Do they still do Kids Count?
That's Hope Coalition.
That's with Hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
They still do that, don't
I
I haven't heard.
I don't know.
I haven't heard of
'Cause I
that
know
for a
Michael
long
does some
time.
of that stuff.
He's
but
the youth mentor up at the
Yeah.
high school.
I want to say they were, but either way.
Okay. But we could get a list together too and just provide it.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be good.
Yeah, like I had no idea about Colville, that they had an open gym and stuff. and,
Yeah.
You know, it's things like that. If you guys know of stuff that
have to look,
people are
see.
We used to have some officers that would go up and play ball and
At
stuff.
Colville?
I don't think it was we used to play outside sometimes at the parks,
Yeah.
but it's been a long time since I've done
Like
that.
we used to go to the YMCA on our own time.
With the high
do
school.
pickup games with the high school kids and some of the older kids.
Yeah, but the high school, we had to have some officers that would used to go out there, and I don't know if they've been doing it for a while. now.
So I've heard, like during COVID when there was like the police in the park nights and that type of thing, they were really well attended, and I heard reasons why it stopped that probably aren't the real reasons why it stopped, but why did those stop? Because those were really cool.
A lot of it
Staffing?
had to do with staffing, and the COVID restrictions started creeping in. And of course, the issues for us are, okay, we're working for the city, we're bringing balls and toys and stuff in for people to use, and so we have to have a protocol in place for COVID. You have to disinfect everything and
Safety plan.
safety plan, and are we going to want to take on the liability of somebody saying, oh, one
Are
of
we
our
still under those
officers?
restrictions?
No,
No.
they haven't
Okay.
lifted.
No.
Now it's mostly a
Staffing.
staffing problem that we have. We have been,
Yeah, we're like skeleton crews on our night shift.
Because even things like if you find like one, And I realize it comes down to staffing, I understand that, but like, you know, sledding with the Grinch would be like super cool one night or something at the athletic field or something, just like,
I'm writing that one down.
He'd probably be hurting the next morning, not that I know the guy, but just saying. But, yes, and but we have had officers that have been going out, you know, even this year. Some of them went and bought popsicles and went down to the park, but it wasn't announced, it was a spur of the moment thing because it's so hard right now to line up something ahead of time. If we, you know, hopefully by next spring, we're going to be looking a lot better as far as our numbers, and then that would be something that we could post on social media or
Then you can
whatever
bring your
Michelle
little
comes up
guy and,
with.
yeah, I'll come.
And I just started following on Facebook.
Yeah, follow on Facebook,
And
yeah. And the
And-
city too, follow the city.
And by
Yeah.
the way, if you ever want to bring your son, you said,
Yeah,
to the police department to meet the police and get a tour,
Yeah,
I could do that.
you could do that.
Oh.
Give me
sure.
a call.
Okay.
There you
I
go.
Will you do
We'll
ride
love
alongs again too?
We'll gladly do that.
Okay.
I mean, that,
Slowly getting back to them. We haven't done a lot.
That'd be
just
it was,
because-
for me, that was a really nice thing to do.
What's
Like
that?
doing the ride along too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, ride-alongs was, of course, with COVID too, that went, and even now that COVID's over,
Kind of.
it's
Oh, we just had a huge outbreak. PD.
Italian version. Anyway,
I just had COVID.
but yeah, it's tough, and plus with all the training that we're doing of new officers, we have some of the cars, you'll notice will have 2 officers in it. That's the officers being trained, and then they're training officers, and they're with them. And so it's
We also have a lot of like really young new officers, and throwing a ride along in there with them. I think some of them would be like, "We're just going to sit here and run radar for 3 hours." Because it's, you know, they're still learning to be a police officer. And when I say we're young, I mean like the median age is probably 26.
you guys need to come up with a cool giveaway like the fire hats though, if you got.
Oh
kids
my
coming.
gosh, there's the fire department again.
No, I'm trying to help you. Like if you get,
Michelle, it's done.
you get the guys coming on tour, you gotta give them like a cool badge
I
or
was gonna
something.
say like they have the sticker badges.
We have those. We have all sorts
Oh,
of
you need to
stuff.
get at least a plastic or metal badge if they're coming, because the fire department gives hats.
We used to
We gotta
have
give
plastic
something.
bags.
Yeah, we went with stickers just because we could hand them out quicker.
That'd be fun. to
Gotta
a
get something
sticker of that.
cool.
That'd be cool.
Now, I don't know if any of you saw it, was it last year we had Grayson? We had a young man to our department that had cancer. And,
Oh, I just saw that on your page.
yeah, we brought him in and bought him a plaque, made him an honorary police officer, and it was took him and his family for a tour of the police department. And those are things that we do, but we don't brag about, because to us, that's just what we
It's
do.
gonna be really hard though.
And we don't, you know, so we did that for them, and, you know, made the kids, made Grayson's, you know, final month or whatever, he made it past that before he passed away, you know, brightened his life a little bit, bought him a little police uniform to put on, and had police cookies and all that stuff, so. We do that stuff. It's just a lot of times we don't blast it out over social media because
Like the fire department.
I think you'll have some.
Kidding, not kidding.
now, but Michelle can testify that Chief Warner and I get along very
They
well.
do. They do. I'll say no more. But he is correct.
But we give each other a hard time. It's the whole police fire thing. There's a lot of respect there, and we all work together great. But
They're great
yeah,
partners to have.
if, like I said, you want to come bring them down, give me a call. We'll line it up.
All right.
We
I
got
just
some-
didn't know that was something that I could do.
We got some, swag? Is that what the kids are? We got some swag. Not as cool as fire department
See, that's
stuff,
what I mean.
but, you know.
The last, and I know we got it, but the last thing I think would be really cool is if when kids are like, you know, about to get their driver's license and stuff, I think it'd be really neat to offer like, you know, just to sit down with officers of this is what you do when you get pulled over. You know,
Yeah, we
because
talked about that on the phone before.
When I was the SRO, I would go into each and I know Rickley did it too when he was there. We'd go into each driver's ed class, and we'd talk about this is what you do when you get pulled over. If there's an emergency, this is what you need to do. If you're on the side of the road and you have a flat tire, these are some things that you should know about and contacting. So, yes, we are on that. I don't know how much they've been doing lately. Now that my wife's a driver's ed teacher,
Oh, she is.
I'll be doing her classes.
that's
Yeah,
right,
she
she
just
is.
got her
She told me that.
certificate, so she's been doing the behind the wheel stuff, but she'll be teaching.
Yeah.
But yeah, something our SROs have done in the past, and I would like to see that again. That we
Right
can come
now-
back into the classroom. But
Yeah, right now, one of our SROs is in possession temporarily while another one's out with an injury, and so we're trying to plug holes as we can to fulfill our contracts with the schools too, so it's just a little different right now. Hopefully in about 3 months, 4 months, the regular SRO's back in his position.
Yeah, 3 months.
did you guys have any outreach programs or anything that you guys know of in the city that you would like to see us on? You can always let Michelle know.
Yeah,
I was
we have
gonna
a good
say,
list.
It would be, yeah, I would have to.
Let Michelle know, or my email
Yeah.
is on the card.
Yeah.
If you guys have anything, or anything you want to contact me about.
You know, I know a lot of the guys and gals are personally involved in a lot of boards and stuff. Like me, myself, I'm on the ELC board, softball board. So we're in the community. A lot of people don't realize like what we do for our day job. You know, we're just another softball parent on the softball board making those decisions. So, if it would help with those relationships, and maybe we come in sometime and talk about like the police department and some resources that we have, and just make those relationships. Do you think that would be beneficial?
Well, and I think too, like, so if you're on the board of softball, so this is a plug for you guys, when you do your gun versus hoses thing, like, really get the softball association behind you guys, like, make it kind of more of a like, you're serving on it, so come support me, those kind of things, and
Yeah.
kind of, rib the fire department a little bit, because you are out there on the, as a community person, serving on the softball, so you get the softball association behind you or something,
Yeah. And sometimes there is a fine line too between our work and personal, because you don't want to use your position as
Yeah.
bad. But no, I agree.
Maybe we should have a retiree softball police player.
You'd really need the medics then. Well, if you guys think of things too, definitely let us know, because I know a lot of our newer officers, younger officers, want to be involved in the community. They've just moved here too, so if there's boards or commissions or whatever, I know that some of them have been looking for ways to get involved in the community too. So
I know
that was my question.
I know our time is coming to an end, and we've kind of mainly been talking about community policing and things like that, but is there anything else? Like anything, like general question about anything that maybe related to community policing, or anything that you guys have that you just want to know? We're here, like for
My
like,
brain's
just
turned
blast
off.
us.
I don't
I
know.
was gonna say, how's the pizza?
It's still warm. It's still a little bit warm.
And Jen, maybe you, if you're interested, because you have a lot of ideas specific to maybe language and that kind of stuff, maybe that's something that we can meet in addition to or something. I don't know.
Do you mean, bilingual?
Yeah,
Oh.
just, I know the police department is getting more language offerings and signs and things like that, and maybe talking with you and/or, another group like the Hispanic Outreach, we can do that.
And I don't know if we have
in
an option
addition.
that's like willing to maybe even just go to school. Like if the city was willing to pay for it, and go to school and just learn another language, learn Spanish or whatever.
Like
Like
Rosetta Stone or whatever.
Like if the city's willing to pay for them to go to school and do that, then maybe they will
Programs
volunteer.
online.
So I'm-
It's helpful.
Like to
I mean,
learn
it's-
another language. Yeah.
That has
Is-
come up in some other different meetings.
Is part of the hesitation, and I'm just asking from a very, I'm just curious, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but is part of the hesitation for the Hispanic community to reach out because of fear of immigration status?
Like
Is that
deportation.
anything?
I would say, half of the,
Okay. So
community.
could you, I don't know if you can, I don't know the legality behind this, but could you have a conversation with the Hispanic community, like, you can call us because somebody steals something from you, and we're not going to go on your immigration status. Like, that's not going to be brought up.
We don't,
It doesn't happen.
But do they
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah, and that's I
Does
think why-
does the Hispanic community know that you can call the police and
maybe
they're
a
not going
couple
to?
of them know that, so yeah.
Yeah, I
They
mean, I
know
think
and
that's
that
probably
is-
like, if you could help start eliminating some of those fears, like you were saying, the military part and that, but if you could have those conversations, like, that's not what, we're here to help you. We're
Yeah.
not gonna ask about your immigration status. You can call us for these things. That's another department. We won't go there, just feel safe calling us.
Yeah.
And even for minor crimes,
Yeah.
even if we interact with people for minor crimes, that's not something that we don't do it at all. And so, like, if we interact with you because you stole something or you got into a fight, we're not running immigration status, because one, we have basically a thing that you're not going to get deported. The only time you're really going to get deported, in a sense, is if you commit a major crime. A crime of violence involving like a gun or a shooting or a homicide, or like, has to be pretty major, a sexual assault, like you rape somebody or something along those lines.
and that is not us.
Yeah,
That's
and,
a
and
whole
we don't
different-
even
whole different
do that actually.
Agencies.
What happens is it goes, you get booked in jail, and immigration sees the status of the charges and stuff, and they find out. We don't even contact them, to be honest with you. But other than that, no other time would they ever. We won't even notify them, but no other time would even be an option.
And
that
we
you would be
don't
deported.
ask about immigration
Nope.
status, we don't ask about those things, we are there to deal with the crime that occurred, or with the reason why your call, your need for service, that's what we're there to deal with. We are not there to check immigration status, we don't, and
And it's actually quite a process if you have to, like an extreme process, to be honest with you.
And I would just put out there, like, if that's happening to like the Hispanic community, we need to know about that, because our officers shouldn't be doing that. We have nothing to do with immigration. So if they're victims, and that's why I think getting us involved in these groups together, and we can have that conversation, and
I think it's just getting the knowledge out there,
Yeah.
and saying that we don't do these things, it's getting that knowledge across, so.
like, you are people in our community, we're all one, so that, we need to work together, and I think if we can build that trust and those relationships, I think that will come, but
Mend the bridge.
yeah, we don't do anything. Don't do anything with immigration
Because
status.
right now, people may have things happening and they're not calling.
Because
Right.
they're afraid they're going to get
And
called.
so
if
they
they're-
could have
right.
kind of bad things
Yeah, they could be
happening to them.
victimized.
And I was just gonna
Right.
say, they could be being victimized and they're afraid to call, and that's, like, we do not put up with that. Like, that needs to be taken care of, especially if they're being victimized, because that's,
Yeah, if that would
That's right.
help ease and build that community, then that's
Yeah.
some
Michelle, I
marketing
was
that
gonna
needs to
say-
happen.
You could be the city's bilingual.
Yeah, she has so much free time.
We gotta find somebody. I want to find somebody. We gotta get somebody who's bilingual, and we gotta.
There is the
find
good.
I'm
just,
thinking you make it an
um,
independent study
the
at the high
phone-
school for
the
kids that
phone
have
app,
taken a
too.
couple Spanish courses.
Yeah,
Do all the officers have that on their phones? There's
What's
a
that?
good. Is it the what's the good one?
almost like Google
Yeah,
Translate,
Google- I
but
think
There's a
so.
better one.
There's
We
a-
use it at the
yeah.
shelter.
Yeah,
I don't have that
two of them,
phone.
and the other one works better. There was because I had a
Well,
customer
yeah.
came in, like he didn't speak any English at all, and I had this translator, and it was just translating back
Does it
like what I was
translate
saying or whatever. And so I'm like, finally we got to the point where I'm like, can you tell me which one you have? So he helped me download it, and it was really good. But
I think we used Translate Me, and that worked well.
But I mean, that'd be a great thing to have on everyone's phone or something too.
I think
'cause then
most
you
of them do have that on their department issued.
Yeah, I think
phone,
we
like
have a
the squads.
translation.
I mean, it's not perfect, but at least it
Right.
helps.
Something in a pinch.
Just-
so.
Yeah.
Let's say.
okay. No, that's a really good thing. We'll start working something together. Okay.
You guys have any other,
Good.
like, major questions or
Yeah.
comments?
My brain turns off after like 6.
You know,
I
and
was gonna say, it's not very often you get all three of us
Yeah, I know.
in a room together.
I was
so.
thinking that it might be, I don't know, this is just thinking because having a conversation like this is really good, and maybe some point in the future, just to have a couple, maybe one or two a year where it's, just kind of open for people to, I don't know.
Like a community meeting almost?
Yeah, but without a big thing, not with, nothing major has happened, no, because a lot of times people think, there's been a lot of crime in my neighborhood, so we're gonna have a community meeting, instead of just, let's just get together and like, hey,
Q&A.
I don't, like there's a lot of speeding in front of my house, or someone could talk about anything, and,
Right, isn't that kind of something we're looking at, not just for the police, but for
Yeah.
every
Yes.
city,
Yep.
city group as well?
Yep.
So, yeah, certainly.
Okay.
I would be on board to help do that. Don't
And those
write
could
that
be
down, but-
outside in the parks too. It could be pretty informal, it wouldn't have to
yeah.
be,
They go down to the band shell one night
Yeah.
and just have like Q&A.
yeah,
I think that's great.
I
People
think
can come and talk.
January.
okay.
In January, yeah.
Well, we got 10 people.
Some
that
of us
show
have
up.
a year and 4 months to go over before retirement, not that we're counting.
Scored it. Okay, I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
put that
I
down.
think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
That way, like, if people have questions, because they don't always ask them, that'd be a good opportunity for people
Okay.
to come together.
And it'd be a good opportunity for us to get more of our patrol officers
Yeah,
going to these things too, because they're the ones that everybody sees on the streets. They don't see us too often unless, like you said, something major is happening. Otherwise, I sit in my office and push papers from one pile to another, send emails and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
yeah. you can
Sean's
give us
getting mad
more
at us.
no, it's-
Cutting into his time.
no. And this group's also brought up like a Q&A for the newspaper and for like Facebook and stuff, both on housing, which we are getting to, we're going to start that. But it could also be with different departments, so somebody doesn't understand a law or something like that. So, just little things like that to try and get that word out. So we could incorporate maybe police officer stuff with other city Q&A
We're
stuff.
pretty easy to work with, so we just ask.
And you know where to find me,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Our number's still 911. So.
Okay, well, thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
appreciate it.
Why the pink badges?
Breast
cancer awareness.
We've had some officers in the department who have had,
Okay.
relatives and spouses with breast cancer. So we went to these a couple years ago for those.
Yeah.
Buy them
Looks
out
good
of
on
our
you
own
guys.
money and,
My little guy's like, Dad, there's something wrong with your badge. I go, what? Yeah, because I ran home quick before this, and he's like, it's like turned colors. And I was like, oh, so I had to explain it to him. He's like, okay, just making sure you knew that he was pink.
He's super cute.
Yeah,
He's in my class on Wednesday nights. He's super cute.
he's there right now.
I know. I'm not, obviously.
I
But
gotta go pick him
Well,
up.
thank you so much.
thank you guys.
Appreciate
Very
it.
nice chatting with
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting you all. And I
Feel
met
free to
most of
reach
you
out.
guys, but
Bring your kids down.
I will. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Good.
and then you'll be in
We got
contact
some,
with us.
Yep.
we don't have any
I'll get
fire
these
trucks,
notes
but
back
we
to
got,
you guys, and then
you
we'll-
know, armored cars.
We can talk
and
about some of the
stuff
other
like
stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be good.
you got those big armored SUV things. Those are cool.
that.
Except for like they were all rolling to my neighborhood one day. What's going on? And I realized they were doing the. We live by the gun course, the gun range. I'm like, oh, why is everybody coming over here? Like, what's going- That was a little scary at first.
Thank you for the pizza.
Oh, yeah, take some, if there's,
No,
I'm sure there's extra trash. Yeah, thanks for coming. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice to see you. Like I said,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will. That's why he said he wanted to be a police officer. Might as well show him around.
John Blakey, Gordon Moore. Nice
Thanks, Gordon.
Nice to meet you. I'll get you that
to see you
information.
again. Yes, that'd be great. All right.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, young lady.
Bye, see you later. Okay.
Well, it takes one public
Hi.
works employee. I'm Sean Blaney, Public Works Director.
Yes, and he
Shall
does a
ask me.
ton. So,
Public Works is, yeah, we do a lot of stuff, so.
and so, you get a shorter period of time, but that's okay.
just fine.
That's okay. So Sean's going to explain all the different things that he does, but we can probably keep it pretty, because there's so many different departments that maybe after each one, you can kind of pause a little bit and say, you got any questions? And once Sean goes through everything, it can be any question. I mean, it can even be like, I don't know, even if we don't, why is my bill like that? Why is, it could be anything. And if we don't know the answer, then we can get it to him. So Does anyone know Sean yet? No?
Lexi does.
Yeah, okay,
You
okay.
Bears dad.
I'm
Oh,
Bear's
yeah,
dad.
yeah.
Bear's dad.
Yeah. So we'll go, let's actually go around the table real quick just to introduce. Steve, you want to introduce?
Steve Blaine.
Corey Kaplan?
Lexi DeVries.
Janet Santiago.
Okay.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Liz
There
McGill.
we go. And Michelle Izey.
Okay.
And Sean Blaney.
Sean Blaine.
And Sean just was promoted to the top dog, the director of Public Works. How long has it been?
Since July.
Since July. But he's been here for a long time.
Yes, I worked for the city for just about 18 years. So Public Works as a whole, we're a big department. We're the biggest department in the city. Kind of behind the scenes, as those guys were joking, they have lights and sirens and all those kinds of things. We have lights, but we only use them at night and during snowstorms. So,
That's right, that's right.
we're comprised of 4 divisions of Public Works. One of those being solid waste. I'm sure everybody's familiar with garbage trucks. Everybody sees them. The solid waste division is it's a large division of Public Works. We do both collection and I'll say that division's broke down into 2 subdivisions, if you will. It's collection and then material recovery. So we process solid waste, municipal solid waste. We have a processing system where we remove commodities and
What are commodities?
aluminum, steel, those cardboard, those kinds of things out of the general waste stream.
Okay, yeah.
Things that are thrown in the general waste that are recyclable. We remove those. That processed waste then goes down to the Red Wing steam plant to be used for fuel to make electricity.
Down by Cobble. That one down by Cobble, or by
down
Barn
by
Bluff.
Bluff,
Bluff,
Cobble,
yeah.
between the Barn Bluff and Cobble. Yep. Another division is our water and wastewater plants. So we provide all the
Are you also then the composting? That's.
Oh yes,
Do you do that?
composting. Yep,
Just
yep.
wanna make
Composting
sure,
is at
okay.
solid waste also.
Okay,
Yes, so
okay.
that's where residents will bring their brush and leaves and grass clippings and all those kinds of things. We have kind of a pretty cool system for turning all that into just dirt, really. There's a little bit of science to it, and they take a lot of pride in it. They're much more patient than I am.
And do we do all the recycling on,
Yeah,
Do
so
we do that, or-
single
Yeah.
stream recycling, so the blue carts, we bring those back, and then those are basically hauled out to another processing facility. So we just don't have the staff capacity to be able to process all of that.
okay.
So then water and wastewater is, we have 2 water treatment facilities that were constructed based off of, we never had water treatment until about 18 years ago. The federal government had changed some limitations on radium. It's a naturally occurring rock. So they lowered that limit. We could not meet it, so we have 2 water treatment plants. It takes 3 people to operate those 2 water treatment plants, along with we have 7 water systems. Most communities can't even fathom having that many water systems. Most have 1, maybe 2. We have 7 because of our topography. And with that requires, there's a booster station and reservoirs and all these various things. You'll see a little building that you'll see a city truck stop at once or twice a day. That'd be a booster station. That's taking water from one system, pumping it up to a reservoir to create another water system. As you can imagine, if we were to have one water system that sat way up on top of the hill, so that they had adequate pressure at their system, we would have 200 pounds of water down here. We'd be blowing everything apart. Nothing. So that's why we have to have all these different systems. Otherwise, we'd be destroying infrastructure all the time. So that's the reason.
Because we have like a mile and a half, right, from the highest to the lowest.
Yeah.
It's
From
just-
from where we pump water from 600 feet underground. So from there to the very top above your house, Liz, would be over a mile.
Okay.
And so So there's 3 people that do that. And then at the wastewater side, so everything that goes down through the wastewater system, that goes down also down by Barn Bluff. We have a wastewater treatment plant that processes about 2 million gallons a day of wastewater. So we pump about 1.2 million gallons a day, and then there are a couple large industries in town that have their own wells, and then we take their wastewater. That's how we have more wastewater than we do water. And so then there are, I have to think, I think there's 5 or 6 people, 7 people maybe in the wastewater system. And they also manage the stormwater retention ponds, that not so much the servicing of them, but the management as far as the monitoring, I should say, monitoring. In the winter we have to go out and check sediment loads and then make decisions whether we have to clean those ponds out the next construction season. They do it in the winter because then they can walk out there to do it. They drill just like ice fishing, drill down and measure the depths of sediment and where it's supposed to be. And
Is part of that just because we're, our streams and creeks and the river and everything?
Yep, it's our proximity and then our topography.
Yeah.
So, again, stormwater that starts up on top of the hill is going pretty fast by the time it gets down here. So we have to manage that as best we can in other areas with ponds so that it isn't coming all the way down here. Mm-hmm. And then that's how we separate organic sands and all those things. That's how that's what those ponds are made to do, so that we just have water going to the creeks and streams. And then that would be one division. The third division would be public services. So public services is kind of a combination of utilities and a couple other things. Public services is so when I talked about the water and wastewater, then there's another component of that, which is the collection and distribution crews. So the crews that take care of everything underground that nobody ever sees, all the water mains, all the sewer mains, all of and then there's also sewage lift stations. Because of our topography, again, we have to lift wastewater to get to gravity to a certain point. So we have 8 or 9 of those. And then one major one down by the river. So all of our wastewater is pumped to the wastewater treatment plant. Then
a lot of sewage.
it's an unbelievable amount of infrastructure just to move water and wastewater.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what it takes. So then there's this underground crew that handles all of those things, and then they also handle the storm sewer underground infrastructure. So we essentially have 3 infrastructures related to water. There's the water, the wastewater, and then the storm sewer.
And we just take all that for granted.
Yeah. It just happens.
Like if it didn't work, then everybody would notice, Sean. But since it all works,
most people don't even know we're around unless there's a problem.
I had your crew out to my place on Monday.
Okay.
Wanted to know, I had a sewer pipe was clogged.
Okay.
So I had Red Wing come out and clean it out, and then I'm on 7th and East, the old house there.
Okay.
We didn't know where the hooked up to the city sewer.
Oh,
if
yeah.
It was on 7th or East.
Oh, sure.
So I called him just to see, because they were going to bring a camera out on Monday.
Yep.
And I forgot his name.
Steve Thomas, probably.
Yeah, he said, we'll come out. He says, we'll throw some
Dye
in your toilet, flush it a few times, and we'll look in the manhole cover out there and see. So we flushed it, and we went out on the porch, and he says, 7th Avenue. So now I know where it was. The clean out, or the clean out in the corner of my house that went towards 7th.
Sure.
We know it was going
There you
that
go.
way. So we know there wasn't a big bend in there going out to East Avenue. You know, that maybe that was a problem or whatever.
Sure.
There you
Stuff.
go.
So that was
Just one of the services that we provide. Yeah. And along with all that underground infrastructure, there's a lot of state regulations that go with that. So we have to, you'll see that great big blue truck with the hose on the front of it, the Vector. We have to clean every inch of every underground sewer every 3 years. So we do 1/3 of the city every year in order to meet our obligations, the state required obligations. There's a little over 100 miles, so we're cleaning 30 to 40 miles of sewer annually. So that truck has to roll. If it's above freezing, that truck has to roll in order to keep up, because we can't do it in the winter. So,
That's a lot.
yeah, it is. Yeah. So that's, and then as also part of that division is our fleet is falls underneath that. So we have a centralized shop that does most of our maintenance. We have 4 mechanics in there, and fleet controller. They perform most of our maintenance. We have, I mean, I don't want to say how many pieces of equipment it is because I don't know. It's a few hundred, but that includes weed whips and chainsaws and every little, piece of equipment that you need in whatever kind of emergency. So the shop, and then underneath that, the marina also falls underneath that. And the marina falls underneath that primarily because the person in charge of that division came from the marina, so he has that experience and background. So I think that's it there. And then the last division would be buildings and grounds, which is all the parks, cemeteries, all of our facilities. I came from that division, so I know that one.
That's the stuff everybody does know. That's the stuff above ground.
Yeah, the parks and all those things. Yep. So parks, cemeteries, yeah. We have about 550,000 square feet of buildings that we manage, maintain, comprised 550,000 square feet. This building being one of them. And we take care of all the heating, cooling, everything that has to do with the building. We're responsible. That division's responsible for that. All of the, of course, areas outside, if the lawns and all that stuff. All the parks, we have a little over 1,000 acres of parks that we're managing now. Not all of it is managed. Of course, Memorial is a large park, and we don't manage vast areas of that, but there are parts that we do. And then cemeteries, there's a little over 100 acres of cemeteries, about 120 acres, I think it is, of cemeteries. We have roughly as many internments in the cemeteries as we have people in Red Wing. There's about 17,000 internments between the cemeteries. So those are maintained by one full-time individual and a crew of seasonal help. And
we have 3?
We have 2 active cemeteries, but we maintain 3. We somewhat inherited one out on Mount Carmel Road. It's out kind of right on the edge of the city limits. It had not been maintained for a very long time. And before my time, we kind of inherited it. So we cleaned it up, and then we just mow it and trim it and everything. Keep it maintained for anybody that wants to visit. The other 2 cemeteries being Oakwood and Burnside Cemetery.
But just to be, when we say Mount Carmel,
It'd be.
which area?
I can talk towny if you want.
No. Well, it's not the Catholic cemetery though.
No.
Okay.
Mount Carmel is out on 61. It'd be, if you're going, you would go past the Treasure, turn to Treasure Island, you get to the top of the hill. It's on the right hand side.
Oh, okay.
Tucked in there.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Yep. No. It's,
Cemeteries. Okay.
So yeah, cemeteries. So there's that. I'm trying to think. I think that's about it. And then, of course, we have front office staff that's not really division of public works, that just direct kind of falls underneath me. So we have 2.5 clerk receptionists, an office manager, and somebody that and our meter technician that works on the utility side. So if your water meter stops working, he's the one that comes out to change it or try to figure out what's going on or those kinds of things, usually in conjunction with Steve, somebody from the utility crew, the distribution collection crew.
Okay. Good. So that's a lot.
Yeah, and with snow plowing, so that kind of falls under both buildings. It kind of falls under all divisions. We have the airport. That falls under me also. I forgot that. We manage a regional airport that is with a 5,000-foot runway. So there's a lot of things that go along with an airport, a lot. So, and our utility crews take care of snow over there.
So with all of that, I don't know, is there anything?
It's all in a day's work.
Yeah, it's all in a day's work. And especially with things that you or your family or friends may, be experiencing either, it could be just garbage, it could be garbage collection, it could be things in the parks. Are there any questions or anything that you might have? Sidewalks, shoveling, streets. We talked mostly with Jay about that with him we talked more about dangerous intersections and things like that. So that wouldn't be for Sean, but just, maintenance, things like that, if there are questions or ideas. Yeah.
Engineering is in our building. We work very closely with them.
Yep.
We have a strong relationship because
Yeah.
they think about things, they design things, we construct them usually and maintain them. Sometimes it can be a love-hate relationship because we don't always love what they design and have to.
That's true.
So it used to be that you guys would set out like this time of year, like the big dumpsters for like leaf collection and that kind of stuff. Is it just because of funding that it quit, or why did that quit?
Those usually come on when a neighborhood requests it.
We can still request it?
I believe we can. I think the caveat to it is when somebody requests it, somebody has to be responsible for it, because if that dumpster comes back with 4 or 5 TVs in it and a recliner, then somebody has to be responsible for that. That's where people get reluctant to ask for that dumpster to come
You
out.
kind of just got to sit there and say, "Oh, sorry, bud."
That was one of the things that was
TV.
brought up, is having there are a lot of people who are challenged financially, and they have those old TVs, and they're sitting there hiding behind houses, and it's like, can we do something as a community? Say we're having this whatever week or whatever where you can just get rid of it, or
Zumbrota just had that. One of my clients got rid of a bunch of
because
stuff.
otherwise it does
Yeah,
end up in
absolutely.
places where you don't want it. And
We certainly recognize
and the cost is like, I don't know.
The
As a
cost is really
taxpayer, it's almost like
prohibitive.
it'd be nice to just it's accepted and.
So we do have annually we have a e-waste collection, an electronic waste collection, where we take it's kind of just a Saturday morning. Usually it's a lengthy day, and we draw quite a crowd for it, and we do take those things at a reduced rate. There's kind of a partnership. The challenge with that is our solid waste division is what we call an enterprise fund. So they have to operate like a business. They don't get general fund, they don't get tax money to support them. So any kind of a cleanup effort like that is that hurts the bottom line.
That would take money from.
That would take money from the general
Pay it
fund.
somehow,
That would take
yeah.
money from the general fund to support something like that, and that doesn't happen. So we'd be happy to, orchestrate something like that, but it would, there's some unknown costs, and it just hasn't been funded that way.
I know they had talked about having, by request, you could say, have an assistance program for people that they could call in and get a tag or whatever.
Sure.
But
So if that, just because it runs more like a business, can that be something where I don't know, not right now, but if there were groups or we got funding from somehow, usually people don't give money to government because we can't take those gifts, but could a group give money to that because it's run like a business?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. If somebody
Or
wanted
the
to
city
fund
could do it too. I just
Yeah.
wondered if it opens up some more possibilities of how we could fund that.
Yeah, because some people give just to the fire department or just to the
Sure.
police department.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
don't know why that'd be any different, but.
okay,
It's just not very flashy.
right. But it would help.
it does
You
help.
were
It
nodding
helps.
your head, Jans. Do you think that would be helpful to people if they could get rid of some of their
Yeah.
I think because mentally and emotionally and like it's a physical hazard, have broken stuff sitting around, but it also is like the stress that you can relieve that. It's a good thing.
Okay. Okay. We'll put that on as something that
Sure.
this group has been talking, would want and figure that out. Okay. Okay. Do you know if that electronic waste is coming up soon?
November
I thought, yeah.
5th, I think.
Okay.
Is that a Saturday?
I think so.
So that-
It usually is, because I'm always working. My stuff is stacking up, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm always working, I can't get there that day.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Alexis, we were just talking about possibly a day for people, trying to fund, we won't get, to get rid of junk, to get rid of things that are expensive to get rid of.
Yes.
Oh, it's already on our family
Do you
calendar.
think that's a good idea?
Yeah. 'Cause we got a lot
My husband is just
Okay.
a nerd that way.
Don't forget.
Just sits in our,
Right.
shed,
Right. Okay.
so,
It's that way for a lot of.
Okay.
yeah, I like,
Should-
so that would be, that'd be a good.
Okay.
Good
Alexis
idea.
likes that too.
That might be a nice,
It's,
They
he
just do that
put it,
paper,
must
right?
put it on a long time ago, who knows?
Okay.
it would be, I mean, if we could figure out a way to do that, like that whole week or something, and maybe next year, because a lot of people don't have transportation either, so if there was a,
Like a pickup.
I mean, I know Minneapolis, it's set out in their curb and they pick it up. I don't know what theirs is, once they have a rotation for that kind of stuff, but.
And it's like, it's either that or some people resort to like throwing it on the side of the road.
Yep.
And that's like something we don't want either,
No.
Right.
because that's ridiculous, so, yeah. I mean, ours just sits in the shed, but
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
are some people that will discard stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot. There's a few dump spots in Red Wing where people do that for sure.
And speaking of, well, this isn't really, but it's out of your office, Sean, is that, just so everybody knows that utility paying for like water and things like that, we still have that fund available.
Yes, the utility assistance program.
Yes, so someone can still apply to the city for up to $500 help. Not with gas bills, because that's through Excel, but this is for water
Yep.
and recycle.
Yeah, your water and wastewater.
Yep.
And Three Rivers has the program too, and that
Correct.
is both electric and gas.
Yes, so you could get some from the city, and then you can also go to Three Rivers. So I'm just saying that if anyone here knows of people this winter who have problems with paying their utilities, you can call the city Public Works, and they have programs still
And the
from
three-
COVID money that's not used yet, so.
The Three Rivers one, they just had extra money, so everybody got an extra $75.
Okay, so just thought I'd throw that in there. What else? What else do people have ideas for that?
I just have a question. I saw my bill from the water that the storm water,
Oh.
the charge is higher. So I suppose there is a reason, but
So the stormwater fee is that was, I don't know how many years ago that was put in place, but stormwater has gotten more and more expensive. Actually, we're working right now on a project. The stormwater, that fee has not changed, so I don't know, that hasn't changed since it was adopted. It's been kind of a flat rate for a long time. It's been a flat rate for a long time. And one example of a project is we have this Neal Street ravine that has been, it's a direct contributor to Hay Creek, and there's without getting into, there's turbidity issues, and I don't pretend to know what all this stuff means, but that project is estimated $850,000 to fix that ravine, and so that's what that stormwater fee goes to. So that
So like everybody pays this one.
everybody
sort
pays
of
into that so
tax
that we
kind
can
of, and
this
then
tax
spread it around
so
too.
that we can maintain these projects like cleaning out those storm ponds instead of that falling on the adjacent neighbors or something like that that's what the stormwater fee pays for.
So Jans, are you saying that that
no. What
that
I mean,
water
I just
has
want to
gone
know.
up?
No. Why is the storm water higher than just the water?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We're doing a storm tunnel repair project underneath the railroad tracks right now on Plum Street. There's a big, it's actually really cool, tunnel that starts way up by Oakwood Cemetery and runs underground all the way down to the river and runs under Levy Park. And there's, under the railroad tracks, we're doing some reinforcing, and that's a $300,000 or $400,000 project in itself.
Is that why Levy Park's kind of gated off in parts?
Yep, that's fine. That's how they're getting in and out of the tunnel.
We wondered.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Does
what are
anyone
they?
do tours of that? Like,
That would be
that'd be a
so
cool,
cool.
like a cool, like,
No, I don't think we've ever done tours of it, but it is cool. It's crazy to see, if you start at the river, when you walk your way
And then
up,
pay for electronics.
up,
Yeah.
it actually, you can see how how Red Wing was built, how that storm tunnel was built in different construction methods as you go away from downtown, as the years went, because it's chipped into stone in some spots, and then it's a brick. It's laid up in brick, like a brick barrel section, round section, and then it'll be a piece of cast concrete, and it's just, the construction methods are crazy how it just.
See, you could sell tickets to that to pay for the electronics.
You could.
Yeah, it is.
As long as there's no rats.
Does it run like under Bush or Plum or
There is a
East
small one
or-
that runs under Bush, but it's on Plum Street right
Plum,
here.
okay.
And that's the big one. And there's areas that are, you have to crouch down in, and then there's a lot of areas that you couldn't touch a ceiling in. So there's a lot of, it takes a lot of water.
It'd be cool. I mean, even just a video tour of it would be
Yeah.
cool.
That would be cool to do a video.
We probably have some, we have a
I
lot
think
of
we have
photos.
some, but we could do a better
Yeah.
one now.
So the tunnels, those tunnels were originally, they carried both sewer and both wastewater and stormwater. And then back in the late 90s, I'll say, there was a sewer separation project where we had crews that worked in the tunnels for every day for, well, unless it was raining, of course, for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And they actually connected all the sanitary sewer, all the wastewater piping into a main in the floor, and then they poured it all closed with concrete. So now it's a combined tunnel, or it's a separated tunnel, but they're both systems are in there, but the sanitary water or wastewater is in the floor.
So there's a lot we don't see.
Yeah. We have fiber optics conduit and stuff running in those tunnels also. So it connects all of our different infrastructure, our water, wastewater systems, and lift stations, and all that are connected through that communication protocol.
Okay. So I guess that's what that pays for.
Yeah, I just want to know.
And since we only have 9 minutes
no
left, is there
complaining, so
anything, especially parks-wise or street sidewalks, trails?
So you did the Old West Main? Is that like fall under you?
That's an engineering project.
Engineering. Okay.
Yep, engineering does that, and then we maintain
Then
whatever
you
they build.
inherit it.
Yep, we inherit it. That's right.
Did you do the public lamps?
Yep, all the street lighting. Yep.
There is one, in Maple Street in the parking lot,
Oh.
next to the athletic field.
Okay.
And it's not working, so
Okay.
somebody told me
Yes,
that.
so the street lighting is kind of a combination. There is, there's like in Maple Hills, they would own their own street
Is
lighting
this by the church, though?
Yeah, in the parking.
in the parking lot. Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know if we have.
yes,
No, it's
Maple Street.
We do use it for off-street parking during snowfall,
yeah, but it
right?
might be
Yeah.
that might be an Excel owned and managed light. We'll just have to get a look at it. So figure out who's
Who would
it is.
Yaneth call
they
then? Would she
numbered?
call Public Works if she wanted to find out
Yep,
about that?
or else I'll just take it back and we'll have somebody look at it. Yep.
How
I can drive that way on my way home and take a look at it.
how come the state patrol controls the traffic lights?
So state of Minnesota owns all the traffic signals in Red Wing. We don't own anything.
Because that day that they call the state patrol.
Yep. So MnDOT actually owns them, and then but we have agreements with MnDOT. So the city of Red Wing pays for the energy, so we maintain the electrical service and make sure there's power there. And then we also, I don't know why, but we're responsible to paint them and replace a lamp. It used to be when they had incandescent lamps, they burned out regularly. That's probably why we have that, because we could mobilize easier than MnDOT could to change lamps all the time. Now with LEDs, we don't have to go very often. So those are our 3 responsibilities. We also own the EVP, which is the emergency vehicle preemption, which is what both police and fire use. So when they're coming up to a signal, when that white flashing light on their truck or vehicle triggers the traffic signal to turn green for them. and red for everybody else. So we're responsible to manage that. We own the system, but we don't have to maintain it because we allow the state patrol to use that system. Like we could say no. So we work closely with MnDOT to maintain the system.
Well, that one on Plum and 61 needs some update.
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations with MnDOT about that, a lot. There was, when that signal was renovated as part of the 61 project, they did not add loop detection on a couple of the legs, and that's given us some problems. So we're waiting for MnDOT to, they're going to put a camera system on that we'll use. So it'll detect vehicles in where we don't have this loop detector. It'll detect vehicles, and then, so it'll change how that system operates. So we're waiting for them to install that. Yes, it is
Is there one on Bushman?
a camera.
Yeah.
No, they have the loops.
Because that one seems like I'll be there at night. I'll work late till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll just sit there and I'm like, come on, like there's nobody going.
So those signals are on a communication protocol, so they all talk to each other. And if one malfunctions, then you know what happens.
One time it was like 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go. I'm like, there's no cars.
Plum and 61, there was a couple weeks, like, literally I was there for like 13, 14 minutes. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay.
MnDOT isn't always open to.
I'm just
They're not open to. I shouldn't say they're not open, but sometimes they don't always believe us when we tell them that we're having problems.
Well,
with it.
I can chat with them.
Getting back to the street lights,
Yeah.
is there tags or something on each of the lights so you know? Like if somebody, say I had one in my corner of my
Yep.
lot, and it's out, that's number
Yeah,
132 or whatever.
Their Excel does have pole numbers, but if you call in, or usually if somebody calls us with it and just tells us where the light is, we know whether it's ours or Excel's. Then we'll just go online and file the streetlight outage for them, and all we really need to know is an address, the closest, and they'll find it. So.
Okay. Good. Okay, last call for questions.
Do you work in repair the sidewalks?
Yes, we do. Yes, yeah, we get sidewalks too.
I live in Bush Street, and
Oh.
I know all those, street they have, pretty bad sidewalks. So yes.
Yeah. So sidewalks I shouldn't say yes we do. We repair sidewalks that have been damaged due to boulevard trees.
Oh, okay.
But any other sidewalk repair is actually on the property owner. The property owner is responsible for that.
I was at a crisis training in the Dells last month during this meeting, and one of the presenters, she was presenting from California, she was talking about those bumpy sidewalk curbs. She hates them. And she's a paraplegic, so she's in a wheelchair.
Oh.
And she hates them. She says, I hate going over these. And we're like, why? She goes, they make my shoes fall off.
Oh.
When she goes over them with her wheelchair. Her shoes
But I mean, it's, yesterday I was walking a dog, so at night it's 8:30, so it was dark, so
Yeah.
I just
Right over. Well, is it a lip on it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that is because of a
Because of a tree.
boulevard tree.
Yep.
yeah.
So it probably is.
Yeah, but it's not in front of my house, so I was just walking, in there. But
We do sidewalk inspections on an annual basis too, so we identify
Right.
those and we systematically go
Right.
around through town. Just like these guys were saying, it's number
So
of people
Sean,
and resources.
there's a neighbor, let's say,
Yep.
we don't know who, and it is because of a boulevard tree.
Yep.
Does that neighbor, I'm supposed to remember this, but I don't remember. Does the
Well, you
city
made the
will,
policy.
I know, we did it a long time ago, and I'm just thinking, because it's a boulevard tree,
Yep.
that neighbor then does not have to pay for it to be, or they do.
Currently, we take care of sidewalk repairs to boulevard.
trees, okay. So could a neighbor call in almost anonymously and say there is a sidewalk here? And,
Yep, absolutely.
because some people wouldn't call in if they think that their neighbor
Sure.
will now have hundreds of dollars, but if it's through the city, someone could call that in.
Correct.
Okay.
And we, you know, we may not,
thousands.
so, you know, we try to do those repairs systematically, neighborhood by neighborhood kind of areas, so it's just more efficient for our concrete crews to do all, you know, instead of one here and then, because when you order a concrete truck, they don't come free, so you want to make sure you can,
Do a lot.
Work on
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Sean, I will also, well, it's Sean Blaney, you don't have cards with you, do you?
A few.
Maybe not, do you? So you can take Sean's card, I'll also email both Gordon's and Sean's out to you, but, you, if, you know, you can always ask questions.
Are you gonna get a bunch of, street light and sidewalk, calls?
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It won't be the first or the last time that Sean deals with sidewalk or light questions, so, okay, good. Well, it is exactly 8 o'clock, and so I'm going to shut off these and say thank you very much. We are now officially ending this meeting.